In this example, we're given vectors v and w as directed line segments in the plane, and we want to sketch the vectors 3w, v plus w, and 2v minus w. First, we want to find the vector 3w, which is the vector that has the same direction as w and is 3 times as long as w. We can do this by taking the given vector w and drawing a new vector next to it. We start at a point near the initial point of w, and we draw a line segment in the same direction as w that is the same length as w. We can then move w down so that the initial point of w lines up with the terminal point of our vector, and we can trace another copy of w. This new vector now has twice the length of w, and we can repeat this process one more time. And now this vector here has the same direction as w, since we drew it to be parallel to the given vector w, and it has 3 times the length. So this would be the vector 3w. Next, we want to sketch the vector v plus w. There are multiple ways of sketching the sum of two vectors, but one involves putting the second vector in such a way that its initial point aligns with the terminal point of our first vector. So we can see here that when we line them up this way, we can start at the initial point of v, travel along v, and then travel along u from the terminal point of v. And the resulting vector here from the initial point of v to the terminal point of w will be our sum v plus w. And finally, we want to sketch the vector 2v minus w. We start by sketching the vector 2v. Like in the previous part, we're going to just make a vector that has the same direction as v, but is twice as long. So that would be a vector like this. Then we want to subtract vector w from this. One way that we can do that is by adding the vector negative w. Negative w will have the same length as w, but go in the opposite direction. So it will look something like this vector. We can then line this up so that the initial point of negative w aligns with the terminal point of 2v. And so now this chain of vectors is taking 2v and adding negative w, which is the same as 2v minus w. And so we connect up our initial point of 2v and our terminal point of negative w, and this will be the vector 2v minus w. In this example, we want to sketch the vector 2w minus v, where v and w are the given vectors drawn in the plane. You can pause the video and try this example yourself, then resume the video to see the solution in a few seconds. We start with the vector 2w, which has the same direction as w and twice the length. And then we subtract vector v by adding the negative of vector v, which will have the opposite direction and the same length as our given vector v. When we align 2w and negative v head to tail, we obtain the red vector here, which is 2w minus v.